Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another tremendous edition of Bets and Consequences. And I say tremendous because it's another day Matt has to do something weird.
Yeah. It's you know what though? You can check the tape on this one. I was rooting for you to win this. I was rooting for you to win this contest because when I remembered that you had Jon Rahm outright in the Masters, and by the way, that's the one I lost was the Masters. After one hole, I got Jon Rahm at 20-1 to win the Masters because he double bogeyed hole one. And I went and I said, I hope I lose. I hope I lose Bets and Consequences.
You know what
week.
I have to say is credit where credit is due with Matt Brown, that you have a number of times won your bets in reality when we've done this contest, but you just keep losing to me, like the one-on-one. It's just the head-to-head that this keeps happening.
I'm glad I lost
Our fictional
this one.
dollars
This one was good for the bankroll. This was a good loss. Listen, the ego, I can handle it. The bankroll went up. I'm good to go.
Yep,
I'm good to go.
The winners that I had this week, I had Jon Rahm outright, and I basically only even picked Jon Rahm to win the Masters out of spite because of how much you refuse to bet on him, and it's hilarious to me. And, you know, we had our guy, Shoffley, my San Diego State guy, finish in the top 20. You had him top 5.
Yes.
So it did not get there. And Tiger to make the cut. Fortunately, we got there before he eventually.
Justin Thomas goes out and bogeys 3 holes at the end of the round, and that moved the cut line to get Tiger in. Yes.
Look at how much I had invested in Rory McIlroy, who did not even make it.
He had a bad one.
Yeah, it was brutal.
One.
But show up. We can get Matt's picks up there on the board really quick as well. So not bad. Basically, I mean, a near break even.
Yeah, Max Homa didn't show up for the Masters, but you know, it's all right. Max Homa didn't show up, but
who knew Big Phil?
I know. Listen, that was like the easy. Like I said, I'm never going to say that a bet is a gimme, but boy, it was Phil Mickelson versus a bunch of olds, and like he can actually still play. Like he was out driving these guys by, 30, 40 yards every single time. And so again, that bet was a very, 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 very good one. Max Homa just invested too much in him. He did not get it done, as you mentioned. Xander, good finish, just not a top 5 finish and all that, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what?
So the consequences here this week are the mystery smoothie. I have gathered these items from my home. I forgot to bring one up onto the desk, though, which would be the fan vote. Hot dog water.
Yeah.
We got this fresh and steamy from the South Point cart, right?
If you've ever been to the South Point,
yonder.
You know what this studio smells like right now, if you've ever been.
And I will give you one extra option. So we've got the Tabasco. I have my Mongolian Panda Express sauce, some French onions, a protein shake. This was the one I definitely did not want to drink in my refrigerator that I know is not very good.
Expired by 2 years?
I think we're safe on expirations. And some black beans. I will, because I am a kind-souled person, I know that this is a lot and it's going to be gross no matter what. So I will give you the option to exchange one item for a banana.
Get them out of there. Onions.
Oh,
Get the
I was
onions
trying
out.
to give you a crunch.
No, get the onions out of there.
I thought that.
Get the onions out.
I thought that was thoughtful
of
me.
Let the onions go. Let the onions
gone.
go.
I'm
Hate
shocked that you don't want the onions and you're leaving the black beans in there. Can opener.
Listen.
Ready
Hot dog water is
prepared.
repulsive enough. I hate onions. Let's just try to get only one thing in there that's absolutely.
Before you drink this and before we make the smoothie, let's get to our bets and consequences for the next round. This is the NFL Draft Edition, and I'm just going to hustle through these super quickly. We have not decided on what the punishment is going to be for this yet.
We'll tweet her out.
We will, yes, we will when this is shared on social media. We will tweet out what the punishment is. But I have lots of $50 increment bets here. I am not believing in the steam for Will Levis to go number 1 overall or number 2 overall, but I have, seen enough of him as a potential target for the Colts to throw that in at him to go number 4 overall at plus 120. Tyree Wilson to go to the Texans at 2 plus 130. I did go under 4.5 first-round quarterbacks at the plus money price. I am not that I'm not a fan. I think Hendon Hooker's fine, like the guy. I just do not think that he is a first-round quarterback. 25 years old, coming off the ACL injury. I know he told The Athletic he's going to be 100% by September, but there's no shot that he's going to be no shot that he's going to be productive in the NFL year 1. So I just don't see him being a first-round selection. Stetson Bennett to go in the 7th. I like this one, plus 350. Lots of folks think he's going to go undrafted, which is, sure, possible. I mean, the story of this kid from a couple years ago, going from being a walk-on, having to go to Jones College, now to being a back-to-back national champion and an MVP in those games. I think he finds a spot, but it's just going to be last day, end of the round. I like the Lions to draft Jalen Carter at plus 450. I wanted to go under 6.5 for his draft prop, but the juice has switched on that like crazy. I don't think he goes to Seattle. I think he goes to Detroit, potentially. The Raiders to go defense, specifically corner, plus 150. I did that instead of picking a Devin Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez. Wasn't sure where they'd go. The Eagles to take Bijan at 3-1. Him just in general to go top 10, save my butt in case he does go to Atlanta. And the Packers to take Jackson Smith and Jigba at 2-1. How interesting would that be if they take a wide receiver in the first round in a year where it's Jordan Love at quarterback instead of Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting because some of ours. Now, this is, again, these are all one-click bets over at DraftKings. And then the other thing is we're doing this the day before the draft. A lot of the value out of all of these draft props have been sucked out.
Our actual bets are gone.
Yeah, like the lot of value out of the draft props have been sucked out. Now, what I tried to do here was put in bets that if I was coming into today, if I was coming into Wednesday before the draft and I had $500, I would actually probably sprinkle a little bit on these bets out there. So if you're watching this day of draft, if you're watching this late Wednesday night, whatever it might be, I actually think there's a little bit of value still left in every one of these bets.
While you're talking through your bets, I'm going to begin putting this
I tried to actually give some people some goods here, right? Under 5.5 first-round offensive linemen, just because the price has shifted all the way up to $350. I think 5 go for sure. I think the 6th is certainly up in the air. It is probably likely that 6 go, but getting over 3-1, if we have an extra wide receiver go, if we have an extra tight end go, anything that could kind of shift the balance of the offensive lineman going in that first round, plus 350, I think is a decently playable number right now, given the likelihood of it going under if we get any of those extra positions. I also have over 5.5 first-round defensive backs. Listen, we talk about laying juice, and we don't love to do it in most bets, but in the NFL draft, if you want to make money, you're just going to have to lay juice. This is the most palatable of the ones out there that I think is very, very likely to happen. I think there's going to be maybe even 7 go in the first round. And so at minus 195, I think that is still bettable if your bankroll actually can handle laying a minus 195. Quentin Johnson to be the first wide receiver off the board. This is at 8-1. And the reason I bet this one, Stormy, is because you look at Quentin Johnson. He's the only prototypical NFL receiver in the draft. Right now, he's the only big-bodied guy that is actually projected to go in the first round. Well, at least somewhere in the first round.
No,
I think there's a chance.
It's going to be Jackson.
I think there is a chance in which
be Jackson.
There might be a team that could fall in love with just getting that big body instead of just drafting. Because Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be a slot receiver, right? I mean, do you want to spend a super high draft pick on a slot guy? I mean, we line up with 3 wide receivers in the NFL as it is anyway now, so it's less egregious now to take a slot guy.
These beans are so
early
gross.
on.
How did you elect to not?
Because I hate onions. Onions really do make me gag. There's a lot of buzz about some teams liking Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan Robinson. You've heard this, right? You've heard this. People liking Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan Robinson.
I just don't think that it's living in a world of reality.
Yeah, 10 to 1
Bijan Robinson is a weapon.
You only need a team to do it. Un team to do it at 10 to 1.
I'm going to give you a little bit more strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, I think that's something that you could do. Seahawks to draft Anthony Richardson at 3-1. I think if he's sitting there at 5, it's going to be a real tough decision on them. And also remember, they have the 20th overall pick as well. So if he happens to slide all the way down there, he's not going to get past them at 20. I also took Seahawks to draft Hendon Hooker, and it probably smells pretty rancid, right?
This is not,
hot dog water. I know.
Look at the color.
Just remember, don't put too much in there to where it's going to actually overflow, because we don't want hot dog water stuff going on all around here.
Do we not?
Seahawks to draft Hendon Hooker at 7-1. Guys, this is actually a 2-for-1 here, because the Seahawks have the 20th overall pick, but they also have the 37th pick. So they have a very early second round pick, to where if they choose not to take him in the first round and he kind of gets into that second round, the teams above them in the second round don't need a quarterback. And so he actually could get to them at 37. So you have a couple of outs here for the Seahawks to take Hendon Hooker at 7-1 as well. Jalen Carter, I took the over 6.5 as to where you took them going directly. I think you picked exactly going to Lions. So I think you have one out, and that gives me a whole bunch of other outs because I think the only way he goes inside the top 6.5 is if he does go to the Lions. No, I think if he does go to the Lions, and so I'm going to go ahead and just take a bunch of other outs here on the over, just at this number.
I think this is good. We have a lot of things that are going kind of head to head in ways. So
and Anthony Richardson under 7.5. Yeah, Anthony Richardson under 7.5.
I actually almost put over 7.5. Yeah, so that's funny.
At 140. This is just again one of those deals where if the Raiders don't trade, if this falls and if he actually does slip and he gets to them at 7, I think that the Raiders might be the floor for Anthony Richardson. I think that just the skill set and everything he brings to the table is going to be
that's awesome. You're talking a little longer than you normally do, and I think there's a reason behind that. Yeah. I don't even know if I need the blender. I mean, this is just kind of shaking up pretty nicely. No, let's go ahead and blend it all up.
No, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Yeah. Watching the beans but that was so gross. Watching the beans get blended up. I don't know if you blended those beans enough.
I'm trying to
I don't know if you blended those beans enough. Let's
make sure we can get the Mongolian sauce.
Let's. There we go. Yeah. Free magic bullet plug right there as well. If you want to sponsor Bets and Consequences Magic Bullet, just reach out. DMs are open.
Matt is so healthy, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. He loves a smoothie.
Yeah, I have had one today already. I didn't have any of these ingredients, but yeah, I had one today already. So off we go.
This is so gross.
I'm okay with this. I think I'm going to be. Now the hot dog water really does have a pungent.
You probably shouldn't have smelled it.
Well, I wanted to see what I was in for. Off we go.
Oh!
I didn't bring water.
Oh. Don't sign me up for any cooking shows anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. What a concoction. Proud of you. And there's no reversal.
No, but that's
can you just take a look at the color of the hot dog water?
Oh my God. Oh my, that's what I taste in my mouth right
Really?
now. Yeah,
it's that strong?
All the other ingredients there, I taste hot dog in my mouth. I taste hot dog water.
What a time to be alive. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Bets and Consequences. Give it up at home for Matt Brown.
I'm going to win one day, I promise.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.